On Facebook and live in Zoom. I am Todd Bookspan, and on behalf of Jen Duplessis, Dave Savage, mortgage coach, and myself, welcome to our Friday Mortgage Coach Productivity Mastermind call. And kind of excited today. So let me just give you the quick setup. So Jen and I are both here. Dave is at the American Dream Fancy Summit. So all the really cool people out there in California are hanging out, and he's going to try to grab someone at some point, maybe surprise us and totally interrupt the flow that Jen and I get going with all of you. So let's set this up a couple of ways. Number one, if you're watching on Facebook, then go ahead and let us know who you are, where you're calling from, maybe what the weather's like since you just heard Jen talk about the snow. And then if you have any topics that you want to discuss. If you are on Zoom, then hey, chat is the best way to connect with us there. Let us know what's going on, where you're from, et cetera, the same stuff. And if you have any ideas. And I'm kind of excited for today. You know, whenever we get on this call and we have an idea of, you know, how do we transition? Like, where is everyone at? Here we are in March of 2019. And so as Jen and I were prepping for the call, we're on the heels of Scriptapalooza. So first off, don't ask about the value pack. It's going to be coming out next week, and you guys are going to be super impressed. I already know what's going in it. Second off is that really, you know, my philosophy around scripting is twofold. Number one, there's no perfect script. There's just building blocks, right? You have these different pieces of a script, and then you have to piece those together based on what somebody says, right? Someone's going to say something, and it doesn't mean you can regurgitate the next part of your script. You may have to go left or straight or right or, 45 degrees or 90 degrees, whatever that is. And also you have to memorize, customize, internalize. Jen has a different way she says it, so I love it. We all kind of say these things differently. But Jen was talking about her catchphrases, and she's been teaching a class on this. And so she's going to gift us all with what she's been teaching out there. So I'm going to hand it over to you, Jen, and let you get rolling on that, because I think that's really important on the heels of Scriptapalooza for what you've got to deliver today.
Yeah, thank you. And by the way, Russell just sent in a chat saying he can't see the video. It's not just audio, it is video. So thanks for rubbing it in, Amia, about your 65-degree weather as well. But before I get started, so I was about ready to tell Todd the story, and I said, instead of me telling the story to him, why don't I tell everybody the story? So about a year ago, I was in my office, and I was just doing what I do, and talking to clients and realtors and whatnot. And this is before, I changed lanes and became a full-time coach and speaker. And one of my assistants came in and she said, I love these little catchphrases that you have. And I didn't even realize that I was doing them. I said, oh, what do I do? How fun. And so I said, listen, just, she goes, well, I'm eavesdropping on your phone call conversations all the time. And, just trying to learn. And I said, well, start writing them down for me, because I don't even realize I do these. And, and I realized that it's a method in which I have been speaking to people. I'm not a fan of 100% scripting. I am a fan of Scriptapalooza because I love learning the ways that people say things, but I have to make it mine, and I have to make it genuine in order for it to make sense. So, if you're memorizing a script and it's somebody else's words, oh gosh, I'll give you a really good example. When I was writing my book, I had an editor, and he changed some words and said, yeah, and so what happens in business is that you start doing something and then you peter out. And I said, no, I don't use those words. Those aren't my words. So when you get a script, you don't have to use the exact words. Find some synonyms and that work for you, that is your language. And I tend to speak to clients in a very elementary language. I'm very educated, I'm very well read, but I don't tend to speak like that because it loses them, right? So if you think something's a little too advanced for your terminology, then tone it down. If you think it's too elementary, tone it up. So until we get a few people, and I'll let you manage the chats and stuff, Todd, while we're doing this, I want to tell you about 9 catchphrases. So we'll see how far we get along until we get interrupted by somebody. But so 9 catchphrases for you. So you want to take notes, because I'm not going to be sharing this on the screen. So the first one is asking for time. And I've got to go through here real quick. Yeah, so asking for time. So very simple, easy script, which is, hi, Todd, it's Jen. How are you today? Do you have time to talk? Asking for time. Or do you have a few minutes, or would you prefer that we schedule a better time to talk? Now, the reason I like that one is because I'm not intruding. We tend to do that. You know, someone says, yeah, hi. And you say, oh gosh, are you busy? You know, so let's assume they're busy and let's just ask the question. But I like the second one because do you have a few minutes or would you prefer to schedule a better time to talk? Doesn't allow the realtor or the referral partner to say, I don't have time to talk and I never will. You're giving them two options and it's the ability for you to get another time that's more convenient. And now you can give them a call back, right? So that's the first one. Second one is asking for permission. Very simple, with your permission. So with your permission, and I'm going to use Todd all the time on this, but Todd, thank you so much for answering all those questions for me about your buying plans. With your permission, I'd like to ask a few more questions so that I can get more clarification about exactly what your entrance, holding, and exit strategies might be. Would that be okay with you? So it's just saying, with your permission, would it be okay? You can also say, you know, with your permission, would it be okay if I talk with you again next week? This is one of the very easy, I know these sound very elementary, but a lot of times we don't call our prospects because we don't know what to say. So let's get permission to call so that it takes out that angst that we have next week, right? So asking for permission. With your permission, would it be okay if we talk again next week? With your permission, would it be okay if I sent you a link to Zillow so that you could write that review that you agreed to do, right? So it's just asking them for permission to take the next steps. Really, really critical because we have a problem as salespeople following up. And if we ask for the permission and we put it on our calendar, then we're going to be guaranteed to show up. It's just easier for us. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so let me jump in real quick. So I know that Jen says this is elementary, but it's really critical, right? She's just setting up your script. She's giving you some tips on how you can get somebody to just not shut you down, to actually be open, right? You're getting that buy-in as you're going. So don't view it as elementary. And I appreciate that Jen is saying that, but this is really from a coach's perspective, right? All you're really trying to do is seed the next part of the conversation and make it flow really well. And these words they matter. So that was just my thought, Jen. Jump back in.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Okay, so number three is expecting my call. Now, I took this from our great co-leader, Michelle. I love that she shared this with us, you know, for some time ago. And I can tell you that this, in fact, we could have a whole session on this, the neglecting versus the nurturing of our current database. We have acres of diamonds sitting underneath us right now, and we're not calling them. And one of the reasons that we're not calling them is because we haven't had the conversation with them in 7 years since we did their loan, right? We just haven't, or 5 months or 6 months since we did their loan. So the checking in thing that people do, hi, I'm calling to check in, just throw it away. You don't need it. It's silly. It may put you in a sales position and not a service position. So let's just throw it away. Hey, I'm calling to check in. Instead, I was thinking about you and I wanted to touch base. I was thinking about you. Doesn't mean that it could be that your digital brain tickled you to think about them, right? That you got a notice that says, hey, call them. But I was thinking about you and I wanted to touch base. I wanted to see how you're doing. I wanted to reach out to talk about blank. What's going on in the market? I wanted to reach out and find out how your season is or was, right? So how was your first of the year would be a conversation I'd be having now. You know, how's your year starting out? I want to call and reach out and talk to you about how the first year is. But the thing that Michelle did that was so it's more than impressive, it was so brilliant, was, hey, Todd, I was just thinking about you and I wanted to touch base. I bet you weren't expecting my call, were you? Ha, ha,
nope,
ha.
I wasn't.
Ha, ha, ha. Right? Hey, Todd, it's Jen. I was just thinking about you and I bet you weren't expecting my call, were you? Look at the difference in the tone. I bet you weren't expecting my call, were you? And I want to tell you, that's my fault. I have been meaning to call you and say that I really appreciate you as a client. And I apologize for not communicating with you more frequently, but I want to change that. And with your permission, I'd like to re-engage. Now, did you just notice how I used a previous catchphrase into that? Okay, so super easy to do. Have some fun with this. Remember, it's a service call, not a sales call. I just keep saying they're happy you're calling. If you are having a problem calling, it's your problem. It's not the sales perspective. The clients are going to be super happy to see you. Okay, so you keep chirping in, Todd, when you want to make a comment on it. So number 4, assuming you are comfortable. Assuming you are comfortable. So Todd, I'd like to ask you some follow-up questions, assuming you are comfortable.
I'm pretty comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, it's just that easy. Assuming you are comfortable, I'd like to email you some information about an upcoming event I'm having. You can even do, with your permission, Todd, and assuming you're comfortable, I'd like to email you some information about an upcoming event I'm having. Super, super easy. Here's another one. Would you, Todd, assuming you're comfortable, refer me to your realtor?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, these are, yeah. You don't have to role play, but it's okay. These are great phrases for gaining commitment and acknowledgement that it's okay to move forward in the conversation. Instead of should I ask now? I don't know. Is now the time? Missed it. Right? All this back and forth that happens. So super, super easy. Okay, now this one, this was a big crutch for me. And it's a great way to say I messed up or I'm not feeling strong enough in my sales position at the moment. And it's called I forgot to mention. So let me kind of paint a picture for you. Have you gone into a real estate office? Have you met with a realtor? Have you met with a partner or even a client? And you did not forget to mention the fact that you wanted to ask for business. You just didn't have the guts to do it at the moment. There was just a reason that held you back. You were afraid, what should I do it now? And so I forgot to mention, so I rewind back to my early days, like in 93 or something, maybe even before that, I think, in lending. And I would go into an office saying, I'm going to ask for business. I'm going to ask for business. And I would leave and not ask for business and kick myself all in the parking lot. So what my excuse was, I picked up the phone and I called. Well, now back then I had to find a payphone. Okay. But I pick up the phone and I call and I go, oh my gosh, Todd, I know I was just in your office, but I totally forgot to mention that we're having an event at our office next week. And I wanted to make sure that you knew that you were invited to come. Is that something you would like to come to? I mean, just simple stuff. I just forgot to mention, right? Hey, Todd, it's Jen. I know I just left your office. I forgot to mention that I'm expanding my business to work with financial planners. Who do you know that you would feel comfortable referring me to? And assuming you're comfortable, right? So you don't have to do this in the car, but if that's where you're at in your business, go ahead. Get in the car and pretend that you forgot. But if you're with them, it's a great way to say that. I forgot to mention when we were meeting, is there anyone you are working with right now that I could help you with? Look how I asked for business instead of who do you know who's buying or selling? Is there anybody, but I forgot to mention when we were together, is there anybody you're working with? I forgot to mention that I'm here to help. Whitney, I was in your office the other day. I just saw my internet's unstable. Can you hear me? Whitney, when I was in your office, I forgot to mention that we're having an event next week. I didn't even ask if you wanted to attend. Goofy me, right? You're not saying that, but you're thinking that. And along the same lines, you know what? It didn't occur to me until after I left the office. It didn't occur to me until after we hung up that I forgot to tell you X. It didn't occur to me until after we hung up that I forgot to ask you, is there anybody you're working with right now that I could help you with? Capiche? Good? Okay. Just making sure.
I wasn't sure if I'm supposed to role play there or not. Yes,
no, you're not. You're not
taking notes of my keywords, and then I'm going to encourage all of you to be taking notes on these and figure out what's the opportunity for you to weave this into your conversations the rest of the day today.
Absolutely. Yeah, these are catchphrases to bridge conversations, you know. All right, so the next one is, would you be willing? Would you be willing? Hi, Sarah. This is Jen Duplessis. Would you be willing to write a review for me? Hi, Sarah. Would you be willing to write a review for me? My phone thinks that I was asking her a question, Siri. Sorry about that. Shouldn't use Sarah. Would you be willing to share my Facebook post with your network? How do you like this? Assuming you're comfortable, would you be willing to share my Facebook post with your network? Right? So I'm kind of weaving these both in. Todd, would you be willing to meet me for coffee sometime in the next few weeks? Would you be willing to come into my office so I can record a promotional video with you and highlight you? Again, great for commitment to move forward. So I'm going to move on from that one. Would you be willing? Number 7, the reason for my call. Again, hi, Todd. This is Jen Duplessis. How are you? I bet you didn't expect to hear from me, did you? Well, the reason for my call is both personal and professional, right? So you can do something like that. The reason for my call is that I was just thinking about you because I ran across the Clarks the other day at the grocery store, right? So this is a great way for you to, if you have ran across another client, to cross-pollinate this into your realtor, to call them and say, hey, the reason I'm calling is that I just ran across the Clarks the other day in the store, and they mentioned that they're thinking about moving. I wanted to make sure that I'm getting back in touch with you, right? The reason for my call is to ask if you have any questions about the article I sent you. Now, this is huge, okay? You're not nurturing your database when you're sending emails, when you're sending paper, right? You know, from some, Loyalty Express or whatever your service is, you are not nurturing your database. You're just providing them customer service. I talked about that last week. It's what you do to somebody. It's what you do for them. There's no engagement. The key to sending anything, even videos to a certain extent, is picking up the phone and asking them if they got what you sent them, to have that engagement. But people don't do it because they're like, well, they got it and I don't know what to say. So the reason for my call is to just ask you if you received the article I sent you last week. What did you think about it? Simple and easy, right? So again, the reason for my call it helps them understand it. I have a client, one of my coaching clients, and he was brave enough to record his phone calls to realtors for me. And when he called, he never said the reason for my call. He just started spewing, right? And you could hear it in the voice of the realtor. She's like, yeah, uh-huh. And she's wondering why he's calling. He just wasn't getting to the point. So let's just get it over with. The reason for my call is X, right? Hi, Dave.
Hey, how are you, Jen?
I'm 2 away from being done. If you can hang. Oh, I'm jealous. I have snow.
I'll have it on mute. Just keep it rocking.
Okay. All right. Here we are at number 8. I meant to remind, ask, or tell you. I meant to remind, ask, or tell you. Hey, Bob, I meant to ask you if you wanted to grab a cup of coffee. We haven't done that in a while. How simple is this? Instead of getting all, get your panties in a wad, getting your panties in a wad about making the phone call and saying, hey, do you want to go to coffee or, whatever. Hi, I'm afraid. Just, hey, Bob, I meant to ask you, do you want to grab some coffee? We haven't done that for a while. You can even say, hey, Bob, the reason for my call is I meant to ask you for coffee, right? I meant to tell you that I really appreciate the way that you handled that last deal we did together. Have you ever thought about making this phone call to somebody? We get so wrapped up in the transaction that we fail to call our referral partners and just say thank you. Super easy call. Hey, Todd, I meant to tell you that I really, really appreciate the reason for my calls. I wanted to tell you, right, that I really appreciated the way that you handled that deal that we did last time together. You know, if you're comfortable and if you're willing, I would love to have you come into my office so I can do a video highlight about you and the way that you handle client experiences. So I just combined 3 of those in one conversation. So if you can post these, just these one-liners, you'll figure out a way to put them into all of your conversations. Okay, number 9, the last one. If you are open to it. Hey, Todd. I was just calling. The reason for my call is I wanted to make sure that you received that article that I had sent you about tax laws or whatever, home improvements, whatever it is. You know, I'd like to share, you know, if you're open to it, I would love to share with you the inside scoop so that you understand fully what actions you might want to take. Okay. So I'd like to share the inside scoop on what's going on in my industry if you're open to it. And lastly, if you're open to it, this is great for a client. So if you're open to it and if you're comfortable with, and if you're open to it, and you certainly could say no, I'd love to provide you with some options that you may not have thought about. And so this brings us, bridges that conversation about talking on the total cost analysis, you know, on an option that maybe they never thought about. Maybe you're introducing an arm because of what they said for their entrance, holding, and exit strategies. So some extra little bonus ones that and I'm not going to go into detail on bonus ones is, first one is there anything keeping you up at night? This is one that I had to incorporate into my process because I've had a PLP before it was popular. I've had it for years and years. And it's so ironclad that I didn't have any communication with my clients because things ran smoothly. So I had to call them and just say, hey, how's it going? I'm calling to say hi. You know, and I just wanted to ask you a real quick question. You know, is there anything that's keeping you up at night during this process? I want to make sure that I can do course correction while the loan is happening, not wait till the end for a survey. I want to make sure I get that course correction now. Is there anything that's keeping you up at night as you're going through this process? Second one, what questions are stirring with you right now? So what questions are stirring with you? It could be after you present the cost analysis and say, listen, if there are any questions that are stirring as a result of watching this video with me or that we've done this live, let me know. What questions are stirring? Also, simple one, what are your biggest concerns? Now, I know it seems elementary, like Todd said, but are we asking that question? Are we asking them, what are your biggest concerns? What are you concerned about? And then what are you thinking about? Asking them, instead of, what do you think? You know, but what are you thinking about? Maybe even, what are your thoughts? Slow down, back up, ask them what their thoughts are. So a couple other little phrases. I've learned, ... I've learned. You know what I've learned is. Also, that said. So you might be talking about a total cost analysis, and when you're finished, you're saying, that said, in my expert opinion, I would lean more towards option number 2. But I wanted to share with you all these options, right? Another thing to say is common and customary. Constantly, it is common and customary. It is standard practice. And the last one I'm going to leave you with is a very traditional sales process, or sales verbiage, which is feel, felt, found. I know how you feel. I felt the same way, but what I found is. Or, I know how you feel. I had other clients who felt the same way, but what they found is. So feel, felt, found is something, and I use, just probably more than I even recognize that I'm using. So again, combine the phrases if you want. I'm going to give you one last phrase here, and this is a combined. Hi, this is Jen. I know you weren't expecting my call. However, I wanted to reach out to schedule a time to meet. Is this a good time to talk? Or would you prefer we schedule another time? They can't say no. With your permission, and assuming you're comfortable, would you be willing to begin completing the contract? So this is all combined, right? All combined. And these are great things for you to teach your realtors. You know, all we are these days is roaming coaches for our realtors. This is a great session for you to hold, for you to give in a 10-minute presentation at an office, or for you to do one-to-one with your real estate agent. So I just gave you a PowerPoint presentation for you to use for your team, for you, for your referral partners, just very, very quickly. So take Script Palooza and take these combined phrases and develop something that is perfect for you and your uniqueness and your value and the core values that you're delivering. Make sense?
That was awesome. So let's see if we can get Dave back on camera. What's up, buddy? How you doing?
What's up? So Jen, that was awesome. I made me think. I saw someone post a question. Do we have these written down? So a couple things. One, I will have this call transcript. Jen, if there is anything you're willing to share in the group, you know, a Word document or anything, I'm sure someone would love that. And I think it's, you know, what you just went through is so important. Maybe we'll write a LinkedIn article around it. You and I, if you're up for it, Jen, could collaborate and write a LinkedIn article.
Yeah, I'd be happy to.
Okay. You might have said it because I didn't hear everything. You know, a phrase I like a lot, and I use it, especially when going into the value prop, is I believe. You know, I believe, and then, you know, share a belief that you have, and then what do you think? What do you believe? So anyways, just wanted to throw it on the pile.
We can keep adding to it. We'll just keep adding to it.
Yeah, no, it'd be a good, when you share that document, anyone who's watching this will share a transcript. Jen will share a document. And if you have some other phrases that you want to add, let's get better together. You know, we're a mastermind.
Yeah, Russell just said, assuming you're comfortable with writing the LinkedIn article.
Yeah.
You something sell. Dave's a great salesman. He's got a great script. Think about that script and how it applies. You guys can use that too.
I am quite the natural sales guy, aren't I? I wasn't even trying to do that, but I did. So I am in San Diego. It's funny. I'm from Portland, Oregon, and I've been here. This is going on my third day, and I brought Portland. It's been raining. This is the first sun and blue sky we've seen. But I thought I would rub it in for anyone who doesn't have the blue sky. I am here for the American Dream TV show Mastermind event. And there's, you know, I think a little over 100. I guess there's 120 professionals here. And everybody here is very serious about using media and video and social to build personal brands. So it's been pretty awesome. I just posted a video in our group where I managed to pin down Kelly Zitlow, Bill Gaylord, Dan Keller, and Ryan Kiefer. What was cool about it is as I was pulling everybody over to, like, let's do this quick interview and share takeaways, every single one of those people has done over 1,000 total cost analysis. And a few of them had done over 2,000. So it was not only a cool group of mortgage professionals that are really serious about video, media, and building personal brand. They're very serious about delivering families an advice-based experience. So check it out. It's in the group. I did want to shine a light on that. Todd or Jen, do you guys have any questions for me? I just wanted to jump in, say hi to everybody, bring a little bit of the magic from this event. But any questions for me before I let you guys get back on track?
Yeah, I'd love to hear. John Downs did a live yesterday. There were some economists there. What were your takeaways from the economist on what's going on?
You know, the economist was cool. I you know, Craig Sewing brought him in, and it was, I'm trying to think, was it like end of day or it was before lunch? Anyways, it was a time where, like, oh, is this time for the economist? You know, you weren't, you know, it was really upbeat, very entertaining. This economist was awesome. So first of all, numbers in economy could be fun and cool. Takeaway number one, if delivered appropriately. And then two, you know, his real punchline was, hey, interest rates matter, gas matters, demographics matter most. And so he was making a case that the demographic shifts happening in the world are by far the most important trends to watch from a mortgage and real estate professional. Takeaway for everybody on the call here: he thinks real estate's going to kill it. He doesn't see any major changes in rates. I think I videotaped like a 1-minute piece where he just netted it out like life is good, don't worry. I'll post that in the group when we get done with this. Just a 1-minute riff from The Economist saying some good things. When I filmed that, it was under the context that some people in the audience were saying, hey, I'm looking for some good sound bites of an economist saying how good real estate is. Would you give me 30 seconds to a minute? Like everybody in the room puts up their camera. So just to give you context, guys, it's literally the kind of content that you could share with your community. And then my last takeaway from The Economist was just millennials matter. You know, the avalanche and the aging population, you know, is really opening up some interesting demographic opportunities. You know, my personal notes were need to upgrade and prioritize bringing the reverse mortgage into total cost analysis, which we're going to do by the end of the year. You know, demographics matter. And that, you know, we need to just continue to improve how we deliver a customer experience to millennials. It matters. Those are my takeaways, Todd.
Dude, I like those takeaways. You know, it's kind of interesting because like I'm an economics nerd. When I got my MBA, I kind of wish that I had actually gotten my undergraduate degree in economics. And so I so believe in the demographics piece. So it'd be kind of interesting. I'll have to, I guess, sneak back on there and maybe we'll bring an economist in here. I would love kind of you guys to sort of speak in who are kind of out there in Facebook land or on Zoom, like kind of give any thoughts of what, number one, what you thought after what Jen said, like let's circle back on that if you guys have any comments or questions. And then number two, while we still have Dave here, you know, what else he might have taken away from American Dream. So I'm guessing, Dave, that the American Dream crowd is there's I think about 30 plus markets. So it's the 30 LOs plus some of their top realtors from around the country as well.
Yeah. So American Dream now is in 31 cities, although every single, you know, it was a paid event. I think everybody who came here paid, you know, $500 or more plus travel expenses. And it's not, you know, it's at the Omni La Casa, so it's not a cheap venue. So it's a pretty high-end group of loan officers and realtors. I don't know exactly how many cities were here, but what was cool is that you had loan officers and realtors, and we're talking ballers. You know, I mean, like I have, you know, spent a lot of time talking to realtors that are doing over, you know, 300 sides, 400 sides, you know, 100, you know, so really high producing agents and using media in a very big way. So I'll give one more takeaway and then I'll let you and Jen, you know, get back on whatever the agenda is you guys have. But you guys have heard this over and over and over. Video matters, you know, and one of the speakers was the top influencer voted by BombBomb. And he went through the stats and, you know, it's like 6 billion, the number of videos on Facebook and YouTube daily is just astounding. And the number of top producers that are interviewing local business leaders and putting on social media and the amount of loans and amount of business that they're closing is even more staggering and impressive than I thought. So if there was a takeaway, you know, create a video today, you know, and even if that's just as simple as a text video update to a realtor or Facebook video, you know, a mortgage coach video. If you are not creating some form of video literally every single day, you are not doing what the best of the best are doing to build their personal brands in the local markets they serve. Listen to the interview I did, Bill Gaylord. I thought the way he netted out why he is at this event really says it all. So listen to the little 5-minute riff that I did with Bill, Kelly Zitlow, Dan Keller, and Ryan Keeper. Check it out, and you know, I think it will motivate you and help you get focused.
Dude, that is awesome. I'm sorry that the clouds rolled in because it was really beautiful when you showed up there, and I was kind of making fun
kind of hot. Well, I was getting kind of hot, and I was kind of like, I willed that, you know, like cool me down a little bit.
Yeah, I totally understand that. And so, well, I'm glad you dropped by. It's always a pleasure when we get opportunity to have FaceTime with you and get your leadership, and appreciate the updates that you've been giving from there, because it is a group of people that I totally respect. And so as an observer, it's kind of fun to have a little sneak peek in there. So on behalf of all of us, thanks for doing that. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, John Downs is here too. So I got to spend some time with John. We didn't get him on video, but Andy Tuttle is here. So a lot of, I would call mortgage coach rock stars are here, guys. So if you do have a question, post it down below or message me, and I'll try to report back some more good stuff. With that said, I'll let you and Jen get back on track, and thank you to both you and Jen for leading the community.
Awesome. All right, Dave, enjoy. We'll talk to you soon.
Take care. See you, Jen.
All right, so let me give kind of just a couple of takeaways from what I heard from Jen that I would highlight, and I'd love you guys to put down below in Facebook or in Zoom what your takeaways were. I would tell you that for me, one that really stood out is that this isn't a sales call; it's a service call. Think about that, right? If you've connected with your clients and you built relationship, that is so easy. And I think we all get lost with that. And I would tell you, just don't feel like you don't want to be, they don't want to hear from you is what you're thinking. And the bottom line is if you connected with them, they're going to be excited to hear from you. I also love the fact that she talked about what Michelle Town says, that sending an email or mailing something is not nurturing, right? So what you're doing is you're setting up that phone call. So just like she said, when she left that realtor office and she went and found the payphone, now I'm not going to make any more comments on that, but you all know what I'm thinking. Is that, in a nice way though, Jen, is that,
yes, I know.
Is that you're setting up the next call, right? Being face-to-face with people sets up the next call. With your clients, sending an email or sending a piece of mail sets up the next call. And it's a pretty simple call. Hey, I'm just calling to make sure you got the email I sent you, right? There's not a whole lot of a script to that. And then the last one that I put a big arrow is I love when you said that we all are roaming coaches for our realtors. I mean, think about that. And Jen just set you up. She said, hey, take this that I did. And now she's committed to write this article with Dave, and she's committed to share with us. But the bottom line is this, is that there's so much content in this community that you can give to your realtors that, like, think through it. I mean, go in there and see, what is it that I can tell them, whether it's doing a quick 2-minute video on Facebook about something you learned today. You could literally take all of Jen's points and turn each one of those into a 60-second to 3-minute video that you could put out there on Facebook. And I would just tell you, jump in, right? Look at John Downs, who Dave mentioned, right? So John's a good friend of mine, and I'm laughing because now it makes sense. I was almost going to text John this morning. He posted so many videos yesterday. I was like, dude, what's up? But I figured he must have heard something. And so I'm going to watch and see what the engagement is that he gets. And just remember, the whole goal here is to execute, right? It's one thing to sit here and listen and watch. So, thank you guys who are here live. It's always fun for us to have some live engagement. And those of you who are watching on video, thank you too, because ultimately you're prioritizing your time differently today. That's great. But the bottom line is, are you going to execute? So let me throw out one more thing that I would encourage you all to execute on, and then I'll shut up for a minute and let Jen, because I can see she's all actually, I won't throw it out there yet. Jen, you got some comments. I'll shut up.
No, go ahead. No,
go
ahead.
I'm
I'm just taking
notes
notes
for just a minute. I'm saving my
you
my
don't remember it?
Yeah, I'm going to remember. This is a steel trap here. You know that about me.
Okay, so yeah, I have a couple of things. Look, there are times when I talk mindset, and there are times when I talk tactical. I'm going to talk some tactical right now. So, even with what John's doing, with the videos, and even Dave said, interviewing local businesses, we all frequent a lot of these places to have our one-to-ones. We have our special place. It's time to go up and ask somebody there, if you can do a video. And so use some of this scripting, listen, if with your permission, and if you're comfortable with it, I would love to do a video on you to kind of highlight your establishment here. I mean, that it's just that simple, right? And so you have to put it into action. And one of the things, and this is why I changed my podcast to Stop Talking, Take Action, Get Results. I really wanted to say, would you just shut up and go do it? Just go do it, right? Put it into action. But I want to tell you something. When you're roaming a coach for your realtor, you will learn these scripts 10 times faster. All the scripts we've learned in our group, right? You will learn these so much better. I can tell you as a coach, I learn every day by teaching. So if you want to really dig into these scripts and get past the fumbling and stumbling that you're going to do in the beginning, teach it. Teach it to your realtors. I promise you they want it. I have realtors that I coach too. They want it. They need it. A very simple thing I did yesterday, I was coaching one of my realtor clients, and she networks and she doesn't, I say, so what happens when you network? Just walk in the room, help me figure this out. And I said, okay, so hi, I'm Jen. What do you do? And she goes, well, I don't know what I do. You know what I mean? And I'm just going, okay, here's what you're going to say from now on. You're just going to say, hi, I'm Yvonne. I'm a real estate agent. I was wondering, and I'd like to talk to you first. And it wasn't just exactly this, but what I said to her is, tell me what you're doing in your business right now, and how can I help you? You want to start engaging with people? That's all you got to say. Hi, I'm Yvonne. Tell me what you're doing in your business, and how can I help you? And people are going, what am I doing in my business? I'm trying to figure out how to do more videos. I'm trying to get organized. Ooh, these are all little coaching sessions I can now have with the people I'm meeting. Every one of them, right? I'm trying to find more time. Coaching session. These are all things that you can provide value. So I want to say you're going to learn from that. The other is, I can't remember how you said it, Todd, but it reminded me of something that I'm just harping on right now is ... We tend to go to meeting, finish the meeting, and put a period on it. Then we present at a real estate office. We say, presentation done. I have everybody's cards. I swear I'm going to follow up and write notes. Period. Nothing happens. We close the loan. We let the client break up with us because period. I'm going to encourage you to consider for the next month, whatever it is, to get this into a habit, 21 days, right? That you ... everything. What's next? And next. And how can I now go to the next level? And how can I do something else with them? And how could I follow up with them, right? ... Huge, huge, huge in today's world, because this is the follow-up that we're talking about. And I don't want to get off on a follow-up thing, but if you can just think ... what's next? And the last thing I want to leave with you, and I said this before, is the daily digital deep dive, okay? That the reason a lot of people aren't doing videos, there's a couple of reasons. In my perspective, one of the reasons is I don't look right. And the bottom line is, this is how I look. And by the way, if you see me at 5 o'clock tonight, I won't look like this. I've been through the whole day, right? I mean, this is how I look. So get over it and just start getting out there, right? So that's one. But the other is, you're asked thousands of questions every day. Should I pay off my collection? When am I going to get my CD? What happens now after the contract? Do you have all my documents? Why do you need these documents? All of these questions that you're asked from your realtor, your financial planner, your clients, your title company, internally with your branch, right? Inside your branch. All of these questions are content. You are not for lacking in content at all. And I haven't even talked about going out and finding content on the internet or using this. Why wouldn't you today, right when we're done, pick up your phone and say, hey, it's Jen. I just got off an unbelievable call. And it's my Friday call. I do it every Friday. And you know what? I just got off the call. And the number one thing I learned today was X. And I just couldn't wait to share it with you guys. And just make it a little thing and say, so how I'm going to apply it is this. And you know what? I encourage all of you, do the same thing. So if you have any questions, PM me, write comments here, call me. I'd love to chat with you further about it. It took me 30 seconds and I was doing it fast. Come on.
Love it. I love it.
So that's all I had to say.
Well, so I think there's a couple of things here, right? I know you said you don't want to, get off on a tangent on follow-up, but I think your whole thing on taking action is really important. And it's kind of funny because you don't forget what you were going to talk about. Yeah. I was going to talk about what Dan Keller posted. He gave us a gift in the Mortgage Coach Productivity Mastermind community, which was a post that he did the other day that got 100 plus comments and all sorts of likes on it. And ironically, he just jumped on and he's watching live. So I wish he was in Zoom and we could pull him in to talk about it. But the bottom line is this, is take the gifts that are in this community and swipe and adapt and deploy. And so I already saw a loan officer who did that yesterday. And I private messaged him. I'm like, dude, big high five, because he literally just cut and pasted it. And then he launched it in his area with what Dan had put out there, which is really huge because, oftentimes, granted, you all follow these other LOs, but they're okay if they're in a different market, right? You can reach out to them if you're worried to ask, hey, are you okay if I swipe and adapt your post? Dan was literally doing a presentation, is my guess, is what he said in the email, in the post at American Dream where he's at. However, this other loan officer who I know, and he's actually been in the business for less than a year, he did the same thing. He had like 60 comments already, and he's not doing a presentation like per se, like Dan was talking about. He's probably just going to do a client presentation or a realtor presentation using a TCA and sharing the information. So if you haven't seen the post, you don't know what I'm talking about. He basically said, hey, I'm doing this presentation. I need to get 50 to 100 comments in order to really have good data. If you were going to buy a $500,000 house and you were offered either $15,000 to buy down the interest rate, $25,000 discount, or you would need more information, let me know below. Creating a ton of engagement. So take the things from the community, take the things from these calls and make action, because ultimately, the reason that people pay Jen as a coach is because she holds them accountable to take action. So you got to figure out, what do you need to do to move yourself there? And Jen's right. We could definitely get off on that tangent because it's one of my favorite things to talk about is actually call reluctance. It's actually thinking what to do. And all we're trying to do is give you reasons to call people so you can overcome that call reluctance and take action. So I don't know. That's my thought on that, Jen.
Yeah. Well, and I think, using like catchphrases or things that we're all teaching, and really the mindset here of, this whole issue of being afraid to call people is because I think is twofold. It's, you think it's sales, and you think they don't want to hear from you. You're afraid to call. And what we've already done is we've already defunct those today. They're out. So if you can get past that mindset of saying, you know what, that's a service call. My job, I'm their expert. I want to be their lender for life. I need to act like I want to be the lender for life, right? And have those phone calls. And the more that you engage with people, the more that relationship gets richer and richer and richer. And so strategically, if you're wondering how you're going to start doing this, right? How you're going to be contacting people more frequently and get over this call reluctance, because again, you have acres and acres of diamonds sitting in your database, is start with the person you're meeting today. Pre-frame the first meeting that you have with somebody to help them understand that you are going to be in communication with them from day one of the closing, right? All through process, and then day one of the closing. Then reiterate it during the process. Then at closing, reiterate it, and then do it. So start with the people you're meeting today, pre-frame it, make sure it's built into your process so that anybody from today forward, you are going to have a fantastic relationship with, as long as you want that relationship. Then what I would do is start working backwards from the loans you've been closing, because it's most recent. You'll feel a little easier about making those calls. And simultaneously go to the oldest closing you have and move forward so that these all meet in the middle. And by the time you start having the pre-framing calls, by the time that you start reaching out to people you just closed in the last several months, and by the time you talk to these people that you haven't for a while and used, I bet you weren't expecting my phone call. When you pull all these together, you're going to turn around and you're going to say, where did all this business come from? I need another assistant, because it's just going to happen. And once you get in that routine of calling people every day in your database for a variety of reasons, like, which we can't get into now, right? But there's a systematic approach to doing this. You're going to get 2-3 referrals a day from your database. But you got to get started doing it. And so that's a real precise tactic for getting started in doing this. And there's no excuse now. There's no call reluctance because it's on you and you know what to say.
So Jen just called you all out.
I just lost you.
There's no excuse now. So Jen's calling you all out for no excuse. All right. So let me just, the last 10 minutes here, one of the things that you all should remember is this is a mastermind. And so I think this is a good point. We got a really great question from Russell. I don't know what market he's in, but he said he's going to man a booth tomorrow at a farmer's market, and he wants suggestions for shooting video to let people know that he's going to be there. And I would say a couple of things, and I'd love anyone else who's on this call, if you got an idea on it, put it in the comments below in Zoom or in Facebook. My thinking is twofold. If it was right near where I am today, I would actually go out there, film a video of the empty area, and I would be saying, hey, guess what, everyone? Tomorrow this is going to be the XYZ farmers market. It's going to be full of people selling fruits and vegetables and eggs or whatever they sell there, and I'm going to be here from 8 to 12, and I would love to see you out here, and here's what I'll be doing with you if you come out. Whatever you have, if you have a giveaway or takeaway of some sort. And I'd pre-frame it today to tell people you're going to be there tomorrow. And then I'd also think about a realtor at their open house video. They're walking through the open house saying, come on out, I'm at 123 Main Street, and they're doing that little Facebook Live and walking through. And so I would absolutely do a Facebook Live where I'm walking through, maybe as it's getting set up, and just run through. And then if you have someone else who can man the booth with you, I would get some interviews set up. If there's someone who's got a really cool booth that someone may want to come see, like the popcorn person or something like that, go over there and do an interview midway through, or maybe see if you're at the booth by yourself and say, hey, can you come on over at some point, and we can do a quick Facebook Live so I can co-promote you to my audience. What do you think, Jen? Any suggestions?
Yeah, I absolutely love the idea that you have of doing it beforehand, because I think where we lose a lot of people in their interest is, hey, I'm here now, and it's a little too late, right? I'm at a baseball game, so I'm here now. But I think the one thing that I would just recommend or suggest for you to consider is, why are you there? Explain why you're there. Hi, I'm a mortgage lender, and I'm going to be at this farmer's market. So why are you there? Maybe you could come up with something that is inspirational, so so the reason I'm going to be here today is that I'm going to be here to answer those questions that have just been burning in your stomach about mortgages, right? And maybe it's something like that, or maybe, I know I don't mean to be cutesy. I'm just saying that tying it together, the thing, I'm here because, and I'm really going out there. Vegetables, are really healthy for you. I want to be there because I want to provide you with suggestions and ideas how you can have a healthy financial picture so that it continues, to grow your wealth. It's a growing thing. Something that ties you, because people aren't going to understand, why is the mortgage person at the farmer's market? Because when I go to a farmer's market, I'm like, God, I hope there's a mortgage person, right? So let's make sure they understand why you're there so that they come and they see you. So let's give them some inspiration, yeah? So something to think about.
I think there's something cool. Like, again, what's the conversation going to be when someone comes up? Because they're going to ask you, what are interest rates? So what's going to be your answer? And they're going to ask you, what does the housing market look like? And so you just heard a little bit from Dave on what the economists are saying. So I would just think through what are the top, 3 to 5 questions that you're going to get, and make sure that you've got a response to that, because ultimately in the end, we can kind of predict it. That's what I'm going to say to people. And then how are you going to gather information, right? What is your tool? Right, we talked about the digital open house with Nicole Solari here before in this group and on Scriptapalooza. Like, are you gonna have a tool where you can gather people's information, an iPad or something like we talked about in this community? In fact, maybe Russell, what I would do is just go into the community after this, make a post. Hey, what topics of conversation would you have? Like maybe pose this in the community, and then I'll encourage all of you in the community to run in there. And if you have an idea of a script that he could talk about, or a giveaway that he could give out, let's kind of rally around him. Dave just shot me a text so he's still paying attention to what's going on here. And he said someone just posted in the community about some emails for somebody. I didn't really pay that close attention to his thing, but he said, hey, make sure you remind the community, go in there and respond to people's posts, right? The value of what you guys are doing for each other is to give each other information and make sure that you guys are all sharing with each other. So we've got lots of opportunity. We've got some questions on Scriptapalooza. Dave said by the end of business on Wednesday, it'll be up and posted. It'll be in the Mortgage Coach Productivity Mastermind community. We'll also have it at the Win by Noon site. winbynoon.com/scripts, like, scripts with an S on the end. And so throw that commercial out there. I cut you off, Jen. So what were you going to say?
No, you didn't. You didn't at all. No, I'm fine.
All right. Well, that's good. I'm glad you're fine. That's good. All right. So, so we got a couple of ideas. So Russell said we've given him great ideas. I'm going to encourage him to get that posted in the community. So remember, this is a mastermind. And so oftentimes we find that, we're always going to come with a topic to start with to hopefully get you guys thinking. But every Friday before the call starts, Dave or myself or whomever is going to run it, if it's Jen or Michelle, they're going to post in the Facebook group, hey, do you have anything you want to talk about? So make sure that you guys are jumping in there and doing that. And then if you're on the call in Zoom or Facebook Live, go ahead and make comments in there as well, because we would love questions just like this that will take us out of having to talk ourselves. Granted, we like to talk if you haven't figured it out. and then make it a little bit more relevant to all of you. So that's what this is about. Certainly with 4 minutes left, we don't have a whole lot of time to jump in on something else. And so, kind of as we wrap up, I'll let Jen take a couple minutes, say her pieces, and then I'll close us out and send you all back to work.
Yep. Okay, so here's how we're going to do engagement right now. There are 50 of you on call, and if you hear me talking about this and you start dropping off, I'm going to know, okay? But there's 50 of you on the call. Why don't we ask everybody right now in chat, if you can, if you're not driving or whatever, I need everybody to go into chat and put in there, what is your number one struggle right now? Number one struggle right now. This way you don't have to go to Facebook. And if you're watching on Facebook Live,
right? If you're in Facebook Live,
do it in there. But right now, what is your number one struggle so that we can get some ideas on what we can be talking about coming up? And they're coming in. Thank you so much. Look, we just got time management. We got videos. We got leads. That's a piece of cake. Prospecting, yay. Look at all these follow-up. This is going to help us help you. That's what we want to do. We don't want to be talking the whole time, but we sure want to help you. Consistency, thank you. Oh my goodness, look at everybody. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys are awesome.
Except for you Facebook people are a little slow. The Zoom people are crushing it, and you guys are all...
Yeah. Awesome. We love all this. And we're going to take all these, Marcy, hopefully you can grab these for us and get them out to us so that we can use this as we're planning for these calls every week. Thank you, thank you, thank you, you guys. Conversion. Yes, conversions. Why are they not coming to you, or why are you getting the wrong leads, right? Sometimes that is you're talking to the wrong people or you're saying the wrong thing. So we need to figure which one it is, right? Thank you, you guys. Thank you so much for keep doing that. I saw somebody just raised their hand, Todd. There's a couple questions in the Q&A we want to make sure we're doing, but we have 16 people who have said, and there's 49 people on the call, what they are doing. So consistency on time management. I know, they're all upset because I held them accountable. Right?
Well, we got people raise their hand right, that are doing it. Consistency is in there, and then also on time management too.
Got it. Thank you. Great shoppers. Thank you so much, you guys. That was good. More conversion. Conversion's a big topic. Big topic on conversion. I think we're going to have to talk about conversion before phone calls, after phone calls. Thank you.
All right. Facebook is catching up too. You guys are crushing it. So here's the bottom line, right? First off, thank you all for taking time to be here or taking time to watch this in the video. Second, I always have to give a big high five and a virtual hug to my good friend Jen Duplessis for sharing what she's charging other people to teach that she just shared with you and gave you guys a great gift when it came to these words that you can use to spark conversation. And so make sure that you guys rewatch that. Dave is already committed to actually write an article with her, or she's going to write it with him, however you want to say that. So that'll be really awesome. And, last but not least, thanks to Dave and the whole crew at Mortgage Coach, on behalf of my Win by Noon team and myself, thank you guys for being here. People are still jumping in here, writing comments, which I love. So I'm just going to go ahead real quick and make sure that I'm making note of those. But thank you all for being here. We will be back here same time, same place next week, 9 a.m. Pacific. Thank you all very much, and appreciate you. And thank you, Marcy, behind the scenes, our Wizard of Oz, for making.
Thank you, Marcy, for capturing. Thank you. Bye, everybody. Have a great weekend and go implement.
Woohoo!
Go implement.